Today on Toy Habits, we will be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Retro Cobra H.I.S. 3. Now, what can I say? Hasbro loves a good repaint and Cobra loves a new paint job. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and today we are taking an up-close and personal look at the Cobra H.I.S. 3 and Rip It from the G.I. Joe Retro line. And let's start off by looking at the front of the Cobra H.I.S. 3's box, and man, does this bring back all the feels. We have the orange and yellow burst in the background. We have Cobra Commander riding in the back looking like he's ducking down so he doesn't get hit. We have a Cobra soldier who is manning the twin lasers that are sitting on top of this H.I.S. 3, and we have Rip It at the helm who is driving this sucker. And all the feels come back. We have the G.I. Joe tricolor logo, we have the old logo from Hasbro down here, and we have the Cobra Enemy badge. Now, the only differences between this release and the original HISS tank release from the Retro line in 2020 is that they literally changed three things. The 813 on the side, the 2/21 over here, and they just colored this thing blue because Hasbro loves a good repaint. And looking at the top of the box, we have the Cobra Enemy badge up here. We have the G.I. Joe tri-logo and the Cobra H.I.S. 3 lettering on the top of the box, and it is set on a black background. And on the side of the box, we have a photo of the actual toy of the Cobra H.I.S. 3 tank and the G.I. Joe tricolor logo, as well as the Cobra Enemy badge. And on the back of the box, we have a larger shot of the HISS 3, and I'm super excited that this thing comes with muddied tracks because I was worried that it would be black, but those fears are abated. We also see the figure Rip It standing in front of the tank, and I just love the deep blues on this Cobra tank, so can't wait to crack this open. And we do have Rip It's file card here, and let's zero in on that closer. Now, the file card on the back of the box is interesting because it is translated into 5 languages. It has English plus 4 others. So I feel like if you're going to be translating it into this many languages, why not make them a pack-in? Because 4/5 of the file card is really no use to anyone if you don't speak those languages. I guess you could learn. Maybe you can play Duolingo. All right, now let's get down and dirty and crack this sucker open, and it is taped with one piece of tape on the side, so if you just make a slit there, you can open it up and see what's inside. And I've actually never opened one of these before. I do have a lot of the retro collection, but I've actually never opened any of these. So this is the first one I'll be cracking open. And it's a lot harder to do this on camera than I thought. So let's see how this is packaged inside. We have the top of the tank, we have the treads, and we have the turret. And it looks like the figure could be behind here, but I'm really not sure. Now, these are typically tied down, and you just got to get a pair of scissors and just start cutting wherever you see these black tie downs that you have. And I think it's easier just to go around the other side and just work your scissors in this way. And I guess that's easier said than done, trying not to cut myself. And everyone, don't try this at home. Oh wait, you have to try this at home. So scratch that. Sorry about that. So anyways, a lot of cutting, a lot of annoying things to loosen up, but I think once they're loose, oh yeah, they will come out. So we will take a look at all the individual pieces in a moment. And once you get everything untied, we have 4 pieces to deal with, and by a process of elimination, I am guessing that the figure, the stickers, and the canopy are in this white bag. So let's take a look at that first. Now, since there are stickers in here, I would be very careful to just slip this pair of scissors underneath this tape and just cut what you need to, because you do not want to cut the sticker sheet there. So let's take a look. And yes, my worst fear is realized. There is a sticker sheet, and this brings back so many memories of just misplacing stickers, misaligning stickers, but hopefully my adult self will get over that and I will succeed in placing the stickers in the correct and exact location. And taking a look at the other things that are in the box, we have the Rip It figure, which we will take a look at after we review the vehicle. And yes, we do have the canopy. And what else is in here? We have the instructions and the blueprint. And the last thing we have is the stand that he comes with. And they've actually named him Rip It instead of just Cobra Trooper. I dig it. And taking a closer look at what I call the blueprint, it's actually the instructions sheet, and they fooled me here, but it does have that classic blueprint look to it. And the instructions are really simple, like I showed you. They're very easy to follow along, and if you turn it around, you do have a diagram of where to place the stickers. Now, putting this thing together should be fairly straightforward, as there is a slot for the front of the tank treads that fits in here, and this little pegged part here fits in the rear of the HISS tank. So all you need to do is just take them and line them up and just pop them in. And pop them in. Yep, there we go. You hear that nice snap, and I'm sure this is never going to come apart again. All right, and next thing you need to do is just take the turret and line it up with these 3 cutouts here that you see on the top, and this will allow the turret to rotate, and it's not going to snap in, it just kind of sits in place, and it allows you to rotate the cannons. And because the cannon is not lined up with those slots anymore, it's not going to come out. See, you can see me, it ain't coming out. And finally, we get to the last piece that you need to put on, which is the canopy, and it does have a slot that it can fit in here, and all you do is just push it in there and push it into place, and it should be good. And here is the assembled HISS-3 tank in all of its glory, and I'm not going to put the stickers on screen because I'm just going to make a fool out of myself, so I will be back in a second. All right, I am going to break in here for just 1 second just to show you something with the front sticker, and this is really frustrating because the sticker that you're supposed to put on the front of it is a little too large for this slot right here. So we're going to have to get creative to make this thing fit inside. I've tried to pry these 2 pieces apart and I don't want to break it, so I think the best thing that I'm going to do and try is to just fold the sticker towards me so it looks like a taco or a hot dog bun, and then try and shimmy it in that way. So wish me luck. And I'm back, and as you can see, I did the best I could with what I had, and if you zoom in here, you can kind of see the sticker is kind of pouring over the front here, but I think it still looks pretty good from the front, and I'm super happy with it. And one last thing to note here is that you are going to have a heck of a time trying to fit your fingers and apply the stickers onto the HISS tank with the SM8A sticker underneath the HISS tank between the tank and the treads. So I would advise getting a pair of tweezers like I have here, or better yet, just apply the stickers before you assemble the thing. And let's try to do this one live. And so yeah, my fingers are not going to fit in there, but the tweezers will. So if you can just get it in place in a good spot, then you can just smush it down with your hand after the fact. And it might take a few turns like this, and just be patient with it. And all right, this is very hard to do on camera, so I'm going to go do this off camera. Okay, and I finally got it on, and it is not yet in there, but I can stick my finger in here and just smush it down like that, and so it is nice and tight. And I just want you to see that just the clearance to get your fingers in there is really not that great, and so there's not a lot of maneuverability for your digits. So get pliers or just put on the stickers before you assemble this thing. All right, and here is the HISS-3 tank with all the stickers applied, and it was not as difficult as I thought, although some of the stickers are very tricky to get on. But speaking of the stickers, I do wish that some of the color choices would have been different for these stickers, because the black on blue, you really lose a lot of the numbering and the lettering here. So especially with the SM8A sticker underneath the tread, I know there's a shadow under there, but if you can see the 2/21, it's very hard to make out. But on the good side, the red really pops on this blue HISS tank. And here's exactly what I mean by the stickers being different colors here. So Hasbro should have followed their own blueprint here and used a white sticker with black lettering instead of a clear sticker with black lettering, because you really lose the numbering here. And taking a closer look at the tread and the wheels, I love that this is painted this mud color, and if you look closely, it's not a mud brown, it's more like a mud green, and it just plays really nicely off of the blues in this HISS-3 tank. Now, what we have in the back is typically referred to as the drive sprocket, but it really doesn't look like a sprocket. It just looks like a regular wheel. So I really think they should have put some more sprocket parts in here just to simulate that this is an actual moving tank. And in the front, we have some road wheels, and you can also see the spring detail, and I just think they did an amazing job with this, and the color of this actually sets off the wheels and all the gears that you'll find in these treads. So I really, really love the bottom piece here and the way that they've sculpted it and painted it. And looking at the side of the tank, you just have your general HISS tank shape, and you do have some carving detail here with some rivets that you see on the side, just like the classic HISS tank. So really not too much going on the side, but you can't mistake the classic look and feel of the HISS tank. And moving this around to the back, you can see the nice Cobra symbol that I centered. Did you hear that? Centered on the back of the HISS tank. And you do have foot pegs for some more soldiers, and you do have some more stickers sticker that you can put down here. All right, and taking a closer look at the turret, it does swivel, and these laser cannons are on a ratchet joint, so you can hear the ratchets going now, and you can pretty much put them in any orientation, up or down. And they do have some basic carving detail here, and you do have some rivets on the top of the turret as well. And once we open the turret, we can see inside the cockpit, and you have some nice diamond plating that you have on the seat, and you can kind of see the detail that they've put for the controls here. And I'm kind of surprised that there are no stickers here, but I actually don't know where you would put them except for the side here. But I think for the most part, the turret is going to stay closed, so the stickers might have been lost in the cockpit anyway. And before we take a look at Rip It, I just wanted to make a special note that the paint app that you see on the box is actually not going to be the paint app that you see on the actual figure. So just prepare yourself, don't shed a lot of tears. If you're not happy with it, just grab some silver paint and paint right over it. Now, taking a closer look at Rip It, now he is a direct repaint of the Cobra H.I.S.S driver from the first release in 2020, and it wasn't called the Cobra H.I.S S driver, it was called the Cobra Trooper, and it looks like they corrected that, and they called this guy the Cobra Trooper Rip It, but they could have just put Rip It on there, and I think we all could have got it. Now, what I love to do when I review these figures is take a look at these figures body part by body part. So let's take a look at the head sculpt, and Rip It has a red face mask and some black eye shields, and he has some really nice sculpting detail on his helmet, and it gives him a lot of definition here for such a small piece. The only thing that I'm not super fond of with his sculpt is the way that his neck is positioned. He kind of looks like a hunchback with his back armor here, but it's a little bit of a gripe, but it's really hard to make him look like he is standing up straight. And moving down to the torso, you can see this beautiful red Cobra logo that is dead center on his chest armor here. And if you take a closer look at his chest armor, you can see the straps in the back, and you can also see the back plate in case he gets hit from behind. He's very well protected, and they did add some little rivets here to make it look like the strap is holding the armor here. And that also continues underneath his arm all the way around, and we are looking at that Cobra logo again, dead center in his chest, and it just looks magical. And taking a closer look at his arms are symmetrical, so I'm just going to show you one side because they just look the same. And you do have some pouch detail that they have put on the side of his bicep, and I do like the folds that they added in the arms here. It just makes his armor look very realistic here. And moving down to his belt, he has a red belt that just has a lot of pouches, and there's really not much you can do with figures of this size, but I do like the way that the belt is represented. He also has really, really high, thigh-high armor boots. And taking a closer look at that, there's not a ton of pant detail here as they are peeking out of the boots on his thighs, but again, I like the folds that they put in here, and I do like the way that they've done his armor in a couple sections here. So his top thigh armor, which connects down to his boot, is different than his shin armor here. So I do like the look of that overall. And if you move it around to the back, you can see a little cutout here where you might have some strap detail where you can see that his armor is getting held on by these straps here. And here we have Rip It in the tank, and he is ready to roll out. And I think actually they might have made his neck sculpt look like it's angled a lot more so he looks more naturally seated in the HISS tank. So I really don't see it as pronounced when he's sitting down, and this is probably how I'm going to display this guy. So I think I'm really cool with the head sculpt the way it is and the neck sculpt. And with the canopy down and the way it's tinted, you can just make out that there is a driver in there, and I think it really makes a cool effect for this particular vehicle. Now, since I have a lot of vintage figures, I do like to load up these vehicles with the vintage figure because it's just a throwback to when I was a kid. And so I popped on Cobra Commander, Major Blood, and the original HISS tank driver. And one thing to note is that the foot pegs are a lot smaller than they used to be for these figures. So the figures actually don't fit in the foot pegs, they just kind of rest there. So you have to play at your own risk, but I do love the way this looks with all of the figures in the back there. I think I might go out on a limb and say that this is a better color scheme than the original HISS tank, but that said, it's a simple repaint, but done in the right way, you can see how great it looks. Now, let us know what you think of the HISS 3 and Rip It in the comments below, and if you've seen this in the wild, sound off so you can alert your fellow G.I. Joe collectors to where they might find this. Thanks for tuning in, and please remember to hit that subscribe button on your way out.